Hey everyone, Nubkeks here, and welcome back to our road to Grandmaster. This is our first game in Diamond 1, looking to make the push up into Master and then up into Grandmaster following on from that. And yeah, it should be kind of interesting to see if things are looking a little bit different in Diamond 1 after being in Diamond 2 for a little bit of a while, given the sort of internet connectivity issues that we had. Definitely been slow on the climb, but hoping to speed things up a little bit now. Of course, we'll have to see how this first game goes. As you can see, we've banned out the Samuro first, and then the enemy team follows it up with a Malfurion ban, and we first pick the Kel'Thuz, so I'm not really super happy with that. So our teammate here obviously really wanted to play Kel'Thuz, so that forced me really to ban the Samuro. Probably, almost definitely, the enemy team would have banned it in the second spot if I had left it open, just out of fear that we would first pick it. Now, of course, if they decided to let it through for whatever reason, just to maybe risk it and to try to counter pick it, and then we picked up the Kel'Thuz, they would have gone, LOL, wonderful, we'll just pick Samuro and kind of kick some ass. So I decided just to ban it away to be, you know, the safe option. Keep it safe, keep it simple, ban him away. It's only a first ban, so not super ideal, but we'll survive with it. And we get a pleb skin Vala here, actually. So I was not super impressed, honestly, with the first bit of Diamond 1 gameplay, right? This season, I should say. First bit of Diamond 1 this season. I was like, alright, a first bit Kel'Thuz on Cursed Hollow. I was like, he's not that great in general at the moment, and he's not that great in this map. I was terrified for a second he was going to lock in the Nazebo. I was going to be like, alright, well, that's just GG. But he does lock in the Medivh, which is a much better pick, so I'm not feeling too awful about that. And it looks like we are going to be going for a Muradin game this time around as well. Though, of course, it is quite possible that he'll either get banned or picked away by the enemy team, who are looking to pick up their warrior and their support still, plus another damage dealer, most likely. And they will get the next two picks, of course. The enemy team actually bans away a Li Ming, which is rather unusual, considering that we have two damage dealers and a Medivh already. We do still want a warrior in our support, so that's rather a large mistake from him. Obviously not really looking or assuming perhaps that the Medivh was going to solo support. I'm trying to decide whether to ban what to ban out right here. I do go for banning out the ETC. Very powerful, I think, on this map, and just a very powerful warrior in general. Now, of course, it does mean that they could quite likely take away the Muradin, but there's other warriors I can play. I can play them all, so it's completely fine, right? But yeah, the ETC, very powerful split push presence on this particular map. If he does go for the Echo Pedal stage dive build, he'll be very strong, and just the pick potential, the team fighting potential around those tributes is quite scary. They actually go for Stitches though, which is an unusual pick for sure, and a Lieutenant Morales. So very, very different draft actually coming out from the enemy team this time around. We do lock in the Brightwing, and I believe I'm just considering my options. I do lock in the Muradin. I think he's a good, safe choice. Can't go wrong with the Muradin. Our team is saying we have an interesting comp. Honestly, I think their comp, the enemy team's comp, is much more interesting than ours, to be fair. But yeah, I mean, the Kerrigan and Falstad, that's like pretty much one of the best double picks you can grab before that first ban phase. It's super strong. Falstad just bringing that sustained range damage, a bit of burst as well, and also that global presence. The Mighty Gust as well, massively powerful around the two bosses on this map. The bosses are very, very important on Cursed Hollow, and the Gust gives you immense boss control. So in fact, they're a duo queue, so there you go. Very, very clever thing to pick together. Very, very strong. The Stitches and the Morales follow-up is quite unique, actually. It's quite different. It's obviously, I would think, a response to the Kel'Thuz first pick, that they wanted to basically have. Now they're going to try to hook Kel'Thuz. Kel'Thuz is very large. He's a very large hero, has a large hitbox, and he's got no mobility, so they can just hook and kill him pretty easily. That's probably their game plan. You know, hook him in, got the Kerrigan combo to follow up, Falstad burst, and now you're going to be hooking him into the Sergeant Hammer range as well. So pretty scary in that sense. For us, and Kel'Thuz, really not a great map for him. Kel'Thuz is quite good in Infernal Shrines because, you know, the flame strikes and even the living bombs get a lot of work done on the shrines where you got all the monsters stacked up. Quite good there. Not so much here, really. He's decent. Like, he's a decent damage dealer. He's just not... I would not consider him first pick material at all. I mean, we saw Kel'Thuz in our previous game really just fail quite badly. You can see this Pleb Horse Vala is or Pleb Skin Vala is Pleb Horse Vala. See, this is something that happens. Sometimes I panic and I press the It's the caps lock, I think, which permanently opens your talent shit. I don't know, but I totally panicked and pressed that. We still landed, of course, the stun on the false side, but a bit of a misplay. I was trying to right click the stitches. We actually had a kill on the stitches there, probably guaranteed. But the frickin' Medivh portal actually hugely backfired, and I went through it instead of being able to stand and body block him. So that was rather unfortunate, I have to say. I have gone for block, by the way, in this game. Very strong against Sergeant Hammer. Pretty good against Falstad as well, and pretty good against Kerrigan too. I'm just running some interference here on the stitches in the back. Stitches is a little bit scary, right? Because if I dwarf toss away, and he knows which way which direction I'm dwarf tossing, he can throw the hook after me and maybe just grab me straight back in, and then suddenly I'm caught in an awkward spot with no dwarf toss to help out. Speaking of being caught in an awkward spot, I'm now a solo lane Murden against a solo lane Stitches. This is very much a losing combo, so I am pinging for help. Just trying to do sort of what damage I can. You can see we basically can't make a dent in this guy. He does catch me with the W. I want to try, obviously, avoid taking damage from him if possible. He does go for the sort of the greedy attack. He does have Dampen Magic level 1 though, which protects him for pretty much all of the KT's damage. And the hook does miss, which is lucky, so that would have hurt quite a lot. In fact, I might have died. I don't think so. Almost, though. Would have been close. But yeah, the Dampen Magic, obviously, the Stitches is an excellent counter pick to the Kelthus. That reduces all the magic damage he takes by, I think, half. He gets a stack of that every 8 seconds. I think it lasts for 1.5 seconds, so it's pretty gross, honestly. Very, very strong against the KT pick. I'm good on this map as well. You know, those choke points around the tributes are going to be good for that. Brightwing going very deep. That's rather risky, actually. But she does make it out alive, thankfully. But yeah, just doing a bit of harass. Just trying to push them off. Unsiege the hammer, get her off our towers. And we did succeed in that. I think Brightwing was thinking we were engaging a little bit harder than we were, which is a little bit scary for a second. But no worries. We pick up Thunderburn in this game. We're going to go for a different Murden build than we did last time. Stealth Murden. That's what we're going for here. Hammer rotates away. Falstad is alone in the top lane. I'm thinking maybe we can make something happen. He is kind of well stood within the minion line, though. We do get some nice damage down on him. If I'd used my E earlier right there, if I dwarf tossed earlier and hit him with the dwarf toss damage, I think we would have got a kill. So that was a misplay from me. Just slightly mistiming it, and he does make it out alive. So rather unfortunate. I'm going to Hearthstone and run. It's going to be a little bit quicker and get me some more mana. The health will have fully regen by the time we got there regardless. And this could be a little bit of an awkward fight right here. I think they have very much the early game team. I don't think Kelthus or Vala come online anywhere near as early as the Sergeant Hammer and the Kerrigan do. Not to mention the impact of Lieutenant Morales in these early fights is pretty obscene. She just does this consistent and powerful healing. And we don't have like the sort of late game strength to actually dive her and kill her yet. So there you go. Kelthus going rather deep. I think he's going to be okay. But yeah, at this point I was basically thinking, excuse me as I sniff a little bit, we've lost this at this point. We just don't have the power to get through the Sergeant Hammer mana bar. And there you go. We're trying. She's actually out of mana right now. But Medivh does go down. I'm going to dwarf toss away. But yeah, I mean, like, they've got a very strong early game team. So you can see I was kind of thinking even earlier than that we should just give this up. Kelthus continues to engage, unfortunately, which does not go well for us. But yeah, realistically, we're not looking to win a team fight this early on. I think the later the game goes, the more beneficial it is to us, because Kerrigan gets weaker. She's very strong early on. Oh, there's Falstad. Hey, buddy. Kerrigan gets a bit weaker. Our ability to burst and to dive the Morales and the Sergeant Hammer should get higher. So yeah, that's basically the game plan right there. Just putting a bit of damage on the Falstad. Not sure what level 4 talent he has, actually. But yeah, I mean, if he's got basic the healing from basic attacks, he will get that back. Fortunately, I missed my Storm Bolt. He does dash to the bottom, you see. Kind of interesting. That way, it makes mana for him. He's got no mana left. In fact, I would say at this point, it's really not that important to harass him anymore. We gave him a few stacks there. He should have been dodging that. But he's got so little mana that he's going to be Hearthstoning and flying back, I think, relatively soon. So there you go. Kelthus does die again. Not really sure what was happening around the map. We were just on solo lane duties. Very important that we get to level 10 at a reasonable time. You see, the scary thing here, the scary thing here is that we're losing the early game tributes, and this could snowball very poorly against us if we lose this one as well, which is likely, and then the enemy team hits level 10, then they can use level 10 to, before us I should say, if they hit level 10 before us, they can use that to grab the third tribute with level 10, basically guaranteed for free as well, and then like push in against us with level 10, once again basically guaranteed for free. Kael'thas is attempting to channel, doesn't quite pull it off. Now Falstad is arriving, this is pretty bad. Throwing down that W just to have that little bit of a zone, and I think really we have to back off at this stage as well. Like, we just cannot win these early fights. The enemy team is just far too strong. Morale's OP. However, Falstad goes out of position. We do hook him and blow him up, but a nice hook from the Stitches actually comes out, catches our Vala, and Vala goes down as well. So that actually, whoa, that was a nice little pick from us there. The Falstad going too deep, getting a bit overconfident. And we do get, we've managed to pick up the kill, but a nice hook from Stitches sort of saves the team fight. I think if he had not landed that hook, I think even with our lower health, whoa! You see there, I was like, did a bit of a double take. Bit of a double take. I actually got hit by the hook, but we went through the portal at the same time and actually cancelled it out, which is kind of hilarious. Vala's gone for an unusual build. Some sort of hybrid Q build. Medivh does have the Master's Touch, but he needs to stay alive in order to finish that. Brightwing, using her level 1 talent, I believe. She took the Pixie Charm, and it's going to take the Bruiser Cam for us, which is pretty nice. Basically, any advantage we can get, any source of XP we can get at this stage is very important. As you can see, we are level 9. The enemy just hit level 9. The enemy team is level 10. They have, excuse me, they have heroics there and active and ready. Brightwing is teleporting in, which is fine, I suppose. I think she could have honestly just run to the lane. There was nothing much happening. Realistically, we're not actually going to be able to push these bruisers in. This is literally just a stalling operation while we scramble for level 10. But it does look like we should hit level 10 before the tribute, which is good. That's actually a huge deal. Tribute spawns. Need to kill a few more minions. Get a bit of harass on the Sergeant Hammer. There you go. Sergeant Hammer actually going pretty low, and we hit level 10 just in time for the tribute, so that's quite lucky. Now we've got a chance to contest this, I think. However, I would say we're still a little bit low. I actually get blindside. I should have checked. This is my fault. I should have checked this. Which, yeah, just got picked off, actually. Pretty bad play from me. But I did not... I assumed, right, that he wouldn't take Gorge. Gorge is not as good heroic as the other one. Because it leaves you very squishy. You're really vulnerable on Stitches if you have Gorge to being just killed. Of course, the benefit is that you do have pretty strong pick-off potential, but especially seeing as we've got a Medivh who can pretty much just completely nullify the whole Gorge kill potential thing, especially later on in the game. He can just, like, you know, throw a portal after the Gorged person and then force of will them when they come out and get CC'd, and they can just escape pretty easily, and that's a heroic nullified very easily. So I was not expecting him to actually have that heroic. Should have checked. It's my fault for not checking, and we got punished for it. And just being a little bit lackadaisical in the lane. So my death does ensure that the enemy team gets a curse, which is pretty bad. Luckily, if you could take this as a luckily thing. I screw up the jump over the wall. That's pretty bad. We don't get punished for it too much, though. You can see a little bit frustrated now. It's like, oh, that's one big mistake for me, and then messing up that jump over the wall. It's like, oh, that's dumb. And get hit by the Falstad and miss the Stormbolt. I was like, no, God. I have to actually pop Avatar to survive that. Might have survived with Medivh's help, but definitely worth popping the Avatar. You can see the shake of frustration. I know I've made a couple of stupid mistakes. Well, actually 3 stupid mistakes in about the last minute or so of the game. Which is not good. Not what you want to be doing. Another shake of frustration. I'm like, God damn it. Hit one Stormbolt at least, dude. Come on. This is bad. And then going back to soaking duties here. We are down a talent here. It is possible that the enemy team is doing our boss. More likely they're doing their boss, but we could potentially take ours in return. So Kael'thas is calling for us to go to our boss. There's a medivac though. So the enemy team is medivacking in, so obviously letting our teammates know that it's coming in. Pretty good play actually from them. It's really cool actually, the Lieutenant Morales play. Let's try it out myself sometime, but you take one boss, medivac down to the other. It's a pretty standard Morales thing. We do catch the Falstad in quite a bit of damage, but he's able to escape pretty much no problem thanks to the Morales. She's being very effective in this game. Very effective. We are more than likely going to lose our bottom fort, and then quite possibly we'll lose our bottom, the bottom boss as well. Medivh is... I'm not sure what he was doing. He's going in for some poke. He just gets CC'd and killed. He might have been coming to save me, honestly, but obviously I was fine because I am Muradin. And you can see once again here, I'm able to be pretty aggressive here because I am Muradin. And yeah, this is going to lead to some pretty angry communication from me. So we'll see how that sort of goes down in a while. So yeah, as you can see, I'm just trying to just distract them and be a bit of a pain in the ass. Brightwing is actually looking at coming in. Excuse me for the sniffles. But yeah, the Medivh is really pissing me off at this stage. It's just like these constant pings. I'm like, I know what I'm doing. I'm fine. So he's just saying, I'm not sure what he was trying to say right there. But anyway, I'm Muradin. I'm like completely fine in that situation. There's no danger of me dying. I'm literally just trying to cause them some hassle, maybe even scare them off the boss, or just slow them down, just be a pain in the ass, basically. I keep vision on them, keep tracks of them. You see now Brightwing is like, it's just all these fucking ellipses coming out, which I really hate. You know, it's just like, if you jump in boss and teleport to you, we could take it. It's like this Valley Girl frustration. It's like, oh, come on, dude. So I was getting kind of annoyed, right? Because I was trying to interrupt them at the boss. Potentially we could have done what Brightwing was saying, but Medivh kept pinging danger. I do quite strongly suspect that he just doesn't understand how Muradin works, that he was trying to save me at the boss in the first place. And then I'll talk about what I was saying there in a second. That he was trying to surprise me at the boss in the first place. No, he's trying to save me at the boss. Obviously I was fine. I just dwarf tossed over the wall, and then Medivh got himself killed. I think he might have been a bit pissed off about that, honestly. And then again, I was at the boss trying to just annoy them a little bit. Once again, completely safe because I'm Muradin, and he's just pinging all these danger, all the retreat, and being like, Muradin, stop and go back. And then obviously when Brightwing teleported in, it's like, well, how do you expect me to be coming in and doing this? I've just had this Medivh pinging me and telling me I'm in danger and just blah blah blah. I've had to deal with all these pings from Medivh. I can't, like, how do you expect me honestly to be thinking then proactively of doing this Brightwing move? That Brightwing, by the way, didn't even ping. So we got one person pinging too much and one person not pinging enough. So you can see I honestly was being a little bit nasty in the chat, right? I was being a bit nasty. I was like, Medivh, doing really stupid pings. It's like, ping smart stuff or don't like ping at all. Like, I'll just silence you. I'll just mute you. I'm not going to deal with that. It's a very harsh way to say it. It's a very harsh way to phrase it. I think it is true though, and it can be worth saying that sometimes. But yeah, I mean, it's like Medivh. There's no other way of putting it apart from saying that his shot calls there were really bad. You know, the pings he was putting out were really bad, and then then Brightwing died, right? Because I was annoyed. He pinged so much that he just went into the realm of being annoying, and would have been okay-ish. No, I think it's honestly still like 3 pings and then going stop and chat. That's still annoying, regardless of anything you do. But the fact that he was completely wrong as well makes it worse. It's a bit of a tough spot. They get a nice combo down on the Brightwing. We're going to be able to jump out. Once again, we're Muradin. We're very safe, right? It's very difficult to kill us. Nice little portal does help us kind of ensure the escape. You would have been fine either way. But yeah, that was pretty decent. But I mean, so that's sort of like, yeah, it's just too many pings. Again, you can see the Vala's bringing out the Valley Girl side, like Kelthus. Be careful. It's like, dude, please stop. You know, what is it? Is it so hard to just say like, care Stitch's hook or something like that? Do you have to make it it's an accusatory thing? What's the point in that? It's like, why not just communicate nicely? I know I'm saying that after I was really nasty and really intentionally nasty in this game, but yeah, I think it is important. I mean, I had another game actually where it was a very similar thing happen, right? We had this person who's doing like these triple pings every single time, and it's just overwhelming and distracting. So I just went into the chat and I was like, dude, fuck off, right? Just fuck off. I was like, if you want to ping something, ping once. If it's really important, ping twice. If you keep pinging 3 times, I'm just going to mute you, and then you can deal with it, right? And I think it's a nice way of handling it because it puts the choice in that person's hand. It's basically say, look, you're being really annoying. If you want to keep communicating with me, I'm letting you know that, you know, 1 ping, 2 pings, that's fine. Okay, there you go. You can communicate with me in that way. If you're gonna keep like being annoying and spamming me though, which is very distracting. It's interrupting my play. It's just making it very difficult for me. I'm just gonna mute you, and then I'm not gonna hear anything you say. It's up to you if you want to be heard or not. Your choice. I don't mind. I'm pretty easy, honestly. It's like I can survive without your pings. I would like to hear your pings. This is how you can do it, and then I will hear all your pings. But if you're gonna continue being a jerk, then yeah, you're just gonna have to put up with that. By the way, I picked up imposing presence here, which is a little bit different, just to help. Oh, unfortunately, we mess up our jump, which is a nice little way to just deal a bit with the false stat and with the Sergeant Hammer. Just slow them down, lock them down a little bit more. But yeah, what I found is that generally speaking, it's a very tough love. It's a very nasty way of talking and everything. But I have found that it actually works, right? Like that game I was talking about, the other game, where I said that, and we're able to jump out. We're murdering. We're safe. Hooray. Obviously kind of juking around a little bit after we finish the jump in case the Stitches throws the hook after us. Which yeah, the example game I gave before, the guy who was doing the triple pings, after I said that, suddenly went to doing just normal, nice 1 ping or 2 pings after I said it. And it worked out pretty well. You can see here, again, just trying to communicate with the Brightwing. I'm like, hey, are we going to try to steal this boss? Let's do it. I'm saying, like, I'm ready this time. I understand what you're trying to do. I had no idea you were going to try that the first time, and I was distracted. But this time I'm ready. Let's go for it. Putting a lot of pressure in on this Stitches. Stitches actually caught out and does get blown up. Brightwing is on the point, gets off the Emerald Win. The Kerrigan is dead as well. Morales goes down too. So that is 4 kills for nothing, and we get the boss. So that worked out pretty well. And there you go. That's the power of communication. You can see no spam pings coming in this time. We knew what Brightwing was attempting to do, and we catch the enemy team overextending, going for a bit more than they could really handle. So that worked out very well for us. Very, very well for us indeed. Brightwing is now getting on a bit of a split push with that boss as well, helping it just get maximum value. I'm saying we could actually go for their boss right now. We've sort of de-pushed the lanes. There's still 25 seconds on the clock. We could potentially make a move. We're being a bit slow getting there, so I think at this rate, by the time we get there, it's going to be too late, right? Yeah, it's definitely going to be too late now. If we'd run there immediately, after we de-push the lanes enough to have the keeps be safe, I think we could have taken it. But hopefully this works out fine anyway. We're about to hit level 20 as well. That's something to watch out for. And we'll see how things go. But yeah, I mean, I imagine this is probably... Once again, whenever I say anything in any way nasty or something, you know, it gets negative comments. But I do think it's important. And, you know, it's not always sun and rainbows, right? It's not always sun and rainbows. It would be the same thing. I think a good analogy would be... So this is pretty good. This is a good bait. There you go. I picked up Rewind at level 20, by the way. And we popped the Rewind just to burst her down. And there you go. We don't jump over the thing. We actually could have and would have been better. It's a nice portal, actually, from the Medivh. Would have really set us up for that. But just a regular jump into the Thunderclap was enough to just clip the Morales over the wall, and she does go down, so that's pretty nice. Unfortunately, I missed my Stormbolt on the false side, which isn't good. And then we do eat a little bit of the hammer. So take a bit more damage. That sort of zoning trade did not work out for me as well as I thought it would. We've got a pretty good opportunity now to take the boss, right? 2 enemy heroes dead. Merc's pushing in top and bottom. This is a pretty good opportunity for us. I think actually it was a Stitch's hook, though, hit the Brightwing as they were capturing that Merc camp. So that does basically interrupt our boss attempt. Falsa going aggressive right here. You catch him with that. Hit him with the imposing presence as well. You see me pop that quite regularly, which basically does this AoE slow and attack speed slow. Quite effective at locking the enemy team members down whenever they're trying to run away or anything like that. Pretty good. So they're letting me know it's dangerous. Believe it or not, I am well aware that it is dangerous. And I'm going to be juggling aggro so I don't die. Brightwing obviously is pulsing heals, so that lets me continue to tank this pretty effectively. There you go. We take up the boss. Everything's fine. I'm going to Hearthstone at this point. More so for mana than for anything else. I want quite a lot of mana. Actually, I'm going to cancel. But I would like to have quite a lot of mana at this stage of the game, because I've got Rewind especially. I'm going to be pretty damn mana hungry in terms of executing that sort of full combo. But yeah, I think a good analogy would be like, you know, you're playing on... let's say you're on a sports team, you're on the pitch, and then one of your players is just being kind of negative, and you know, he's just kind of he's basically in a huff, right? You know, he's just a bit grumpy. He's having a bit of a sulk on the pitch. You know, then like the coach will have sometimes, you know, have to call him over and just be like, just kind of like just grab him and give him like some tough love. Just like, hey, you're being a dick. It's like, you know, stop it, or you know, you're gonna be subbed out. Like you're not gonna play, and you're not gonna play next game. You know, sometimes that's what you need if someone is in a huff. if someone is being cranky and not communicating, not playing nice, you have to be kind of nasty in return, just to kind of just be harsh and just kind of shock them out of it. Just, you know, give them this sort of like that slap in the face that says, hey, snap out of it, you're being a dick, and it can work. Hopefully you don't have to do it too often, right? So this time, this is going to be different because I'm Muradin. I'm a late game Muradin. Dwarf toss out. We actually got protected from the Medivh as well, which absorbed a lot of that, but never really in any much danger. Pop the rewind. And there you go. So, much different from the Stitches hook earlier in the game. Now we're later in the game. We're much more survivable. Falstad actually taking a big chunk of damage there as you catch him in that. And then we got a tribute spawning. This is curse point for us, which is a pretty big deal. And we drink some tea. Delicious. Delicious tea. And here we go. We'll see what happens. It's still, of course, dead even game. Level 21 to 20. Both teams have their Storm Tier Talons. Vala actually gets hooked, and that's bad, but she vaults away before Stitches can gorge her, which is a huge deal. Medivh in a bit of a tough spot. Actually got picked off right there, and this is looking pretty bad now with Medivh getting picked off. I don't have Avatar ready. What I'm trying to do here, the theory, is that I'm just zone out the enemy team. Unfortunately, mess up that jump as well. Not quite standing close enough, and I die. But my theory there, it was actually countered by the enemy team, but the theory was, I just go really ham into their backline, just absorb all of their attention. They've just killed Medivh as well, so we're losing this curse. We're going to be in a really rough spot. But if I do that, and they focus on me, then maybe we could actually sneak the tribute and just steal it before they actually realize what's going on, so we would get a curse for ourselves. Now, unfortunately, or well played by the enemy team, their Falstad actually flew up past all the team fighting up to the tribute. He was on point, he was aware of what was going on, he used his global presence. I presume he has Epic Mount at level 20. He used that to sneak this. This is very risky by the KT, by the way. It's like, where's the enemy team? We know they're nearby. In fact, they're right there. If the enemy team had been running to steal that siege camp, which they really honestly should have, they should have taken that siege camp and then just run in and done what they're doing now. Then kill the forts, or the keeps, excuse me. And then they would have had a siege camp pushing in. They could have put pressure on the core with that siege camp. They should have done that. Instead, they just went straight for the keep. And that meant that KT did escape alive. But if they had gone to the siege camp, he would have been dead. It was a very risky move. It was a very bad move. But he just got lucky and wasn't punished for it. Enemy is calling in a medevac dropship. So they're potentially coming in here. Nope, they're actually going for the top keep. Nice work for Medivh, scouting that out. Well played. And this actually works out. What a stroke of luck. What a stroke of luck. The enemy team all medevacs up to the top lane. And what do you know? The tribute spawns on the bottom lane. Basically, I think in fact that is as far away, or almost. It's the second furthest away point that they could get to. Falstad is coming in here. I'm going to try gather it. He actually uses the Mighty Gust to interrupt that. And Falstad is now way out of position. We're able to just jump in, catch him with that, hit the rewind, and then blam, Falstad explodes. Rest in pieces. That's pretty good. So we got ourselves the curse as well. And Falstad is dead. Now we actually found the Stitches out of position. Hello, Stitches. Nice to meet you as well. How are you doing? This is pretty good. So, honestly, a big stroke of luck for us. Pretty much the most favorable tribute spawn we could have asked for. And that enables us to get a kill, get another one. So I'm saying go through the mid keep. We're all in the mid lane anyway. Go through the mid keep, go for core. In fact, the top keep actually dies to minions. So I'm just saying, like, just go core. Alright, forget the middle keep, who cares? Just go core, just kill them. Just end this now. They're still dead for a few seconds. The frickin' portal, once again, being a bit problematic. Well, there you go. We are on this, just putting a bit of pressure on Sergeant Hammer. We are on the core. Vala is doing tons of damage. Kerrigan, nice dive in on top of them. Nice polymorph from the Brightwing. Plus Emerald Wind tries zoner off. They do land on the KT though. KT is taken down. Kerrigan actually just bolts the storm out. You see, one of the main things I'm trying to do is to kind of get double value out of my abilities to hit the core and hit the enemy heroes, just to protect our heroes. Doesn't hugely matter in the end, but that's the theory anyway. We do grab the core. GG, well played. Victory. Bit of luck to pull us through in the end. But there you go. There you go. Oh, so let's talk about, because I think that is perhaps the most interesting thing that happened in this video, was the issue over the pinging stuff, and then me being a bit nasty. One thing I would say, we don't actually get anything here. Protector from Medivh. Wow. Oh. That's pretty cool. 7% of team's damage prevented. Pretty cool. Pretty cool. What I would say is that, I mean, there were no further issues from the Medivh. Maybe he reported me and blocked me. I don't really care. And if he did, it might be justified. I don't mind, really. But it's up to him to decide that. But, you know, we didn't have any more problems from the Medivh then, further into the game. There were no more, like, spam pings or, like, just being annoying and distracting and just overwhelming in the chat. It was a nice, smooth experience from then on. We were able to actually use the chat and use the pings constructively in the way they should be done to have good team communication. We were able to pull off some nice moves, some nice boss steals from then on. Like, I think there's a huge contrast between that first boss thing where it's like all this crap from Medivh is coming out and then Brightwing is teleporting in. I didn't even know what was going on because I was trying to work out, like, am I actually in danger? Do I actually need to retreat? And then going, wait, no, I don't need to retreat. Why is Medivh pinging this? Obviously, there's all the... You have to take account of what your teammates are pinging. So because he was pinging so much, I had to take account of all of this. And then I was like, do I need to explain to him, like, what's going on? And that, like, it took up so much brain power that we actually couldn't execute any form of a boss steal, and it worked out really badly. Then I was so annoyed that Brightwing died because I got annoyed and had to chat. Then I died. I didn't die, but I almost died as well because, again, I stopped to chat because I was so frustrated by it, right? Because he just went way too ham in terms of his communication and just way too obnoxious, really, I suppose would be the word with that. It's a relative thing as well. Some people might think that's quite normal. Is, you know, at in the sort of the games that I'm playing, that would be, it's quite obnoxious amount of pings and spam and stuff. But then I think the second boss attempt, much smoother. Went in, I was like, all right, are we gonna steal this? Cool. Just letting Brightwing know, hey, I'm ready. I am aware of what you want to do. You're aware now that I know, you know that I know, and I know that you know that I know, and we can work this out. And then it went very smoothly, a very smooth boss steal attempt. Obviously, it was a much more favorable position for us to actually get a boss steal attempt off. But nonetheless, you could see there's a much smoother level of communication. We were all on the sort of same playing field. So yeah, there you go, guys. I think if you need to do that, you can do it. You can be nasty and just be like, yo, you're spam pinging me. If you don't stop, I'm gonna mute you. And you know, it's tough love. It is pretty harsh, but if you need to do it, you can do it. And most importantly, instead of just muting someone, if you do that, you know, it's tough love, right? But it gives them the choice. I think that's quite important, right? I think that's quite an important way to deal with a lot of these things, is to put the choice in the hands of the players, right? It basically gives them the choice. It says, okay, you know what? You can, I'm saying, like, look, right, if you're going to spam ping me, I'm just going to mute you. It gives them the choice. It says, okay, if you find that very offensive or annoying, you can, you know, mute me, you could report me if that's a reportable thing. Whatever you want to do, it's your choice. If you want to, you know, if you really do want to communicate well with the team and actually try hard and push for the win here, then you know what you've got to do. You've got to, you know, ping appropriately and stuff. And if you do that, I will listen. Yeah, it says that I will listen to what you're trying to do. But if you're gonna, like, just keep going the way you're going, you know, I'm going to mute you, but at least it gives them the info as well then that, look, if you keep doing it that way, I'm not gonna listen to you. In fact, you're gonna be muted at that stage. So I'm not even gonna hear, I'm not gonna even have the option to listen. So it's your choice. You can change your behavior in this game, and then I'll be more than happy to work with that. Or if you're not, then look, I don't want to work with it. So it's just the way it's gonna be. If you don't want to work with it, then that's fine. Your choice. That's the way it's gonna be. Up to you to decide what you want to do. I'm just letting you know how it is. And yeah, basically we can work from there. You know, everyone knows where everyone else stands. We can work from there. And yeah, it's definitely tough love, but it does work. I'd say I've only done this like in 2 games, right? I've only need to. Honestly, I think part of it as well is the fact that I have this cold. I'm a little bit grumpy. I'm a little bit cranky. But yeah, in both the games I've done it, I've had to, you know, give a bit of tough love and just been like, dude, please stop spamming, or I'll just have to mute you. Both times I've done that. The person who was spamming the pings has stopped spamming but has continued to communicate and be positive. And then in both games there was a marked change in the teamwork and the communication for the better from that point onwards. And you know, they I think they'd probably both be quite pissed off and angry for the first few minutes. Then I think after that, when they realize that, you know, when the communication and teamwork does improve, I think that, you know, they probably be quite forgiving of that, honestly, at that stage. Be quite forgiving and just be like, okay, yeah, I don't like the Murden, I don't like our Murden, but you know, went along with him and it worked out in the end. So, you know what, I can live with that because it did ultimately make for a more positive experience even if I didn't particularly like him and he didn't particularly like me at the start. Anyway, that's what I think about that. Again, you know what? I like putting this stuff out for you guys because I want to be honest about the game and actually give you genuine insight into the teamwork, even when it's not lovey-dovey stuff, right? I could just only put out lovey-dovey stuff, you know, all purely 100% positive and everything is great, and probably people would love that and get loads of likes, but I'm more interested in being honest and giving you real insight, and I do think that sometimes it gets a bit gritty. Sometimes you do have to give some tough love, give a bit of a slap in the face. That's just the way life is, really. And it might get a lot of dislikes in this video, more than possible. These types of videos I do tend to get more dislikes whenever I say anything negative, or speak negatively in the chat, or whenever I report people. Always gets dislikes because the reporting system is obviously not meant to be used. But yeah, in this one I could see some people would see it potentially as hypocritical, so they might get disliked and stuff like that. But yeah, I mean, obviously, as you can tell, this was just a regular ranked match. I didn't have to show you this one. I do try to show you every single promo game, for example, every single placement game. But this one I could have just deleted the video and never shown it to you and avoided all those dislikes. However, I think it is worthwhile to show you guys this stuff because I do think it is important information and important insight into the game, regardless of whether some people find it cushy or not. And it's always funny. I always get accused from both sides. I have some people saying like, you're way too harsh and like you're too mean and cruel and cold hearted. What's wrong with you? And then I also get people saying you're so weak and soft. I'm like, wow, some people are saying you're way too like hard and harsh, and some people saying you're weak and soft. It's like you get accused of, for the same thing, you get accused of both sides of the thing. It's funny. It's quite funny how you could be opposites but both at the same time. And yeah, it's interesting. Very much depending on perspective. But there you go, guys. Give it a like if you did like it. Let me know what you think in the comments below. And obviously as well, which is another huge thing, right, is that different leagues within the game, different types of players and different attitudes to the game that you find within those will lead to different sort of outcomes and stuff like that. For example, this would be fairly appropriate, I think, to Diamond Master, Grandmastery type stuff. Where obviously in let's say like I had someone ask me, for example, the other day, it was like, well, gold is like, or no, it was silver. They're like, silver is just awful. People are raging all the time. What do you think about that? Yeah, I mean, that is, yeah, that's true, right? You probably get a lot more rage and stuff in silver, so that the stuff in this video might seem very tame compared to what you're used to. But you have to bear in mind what we're used to at the level of play we're at. And yeah, I mean, this response might work in this level of play, might not work in your level of play. Have to work that out for yourselves. Anyway, thanks for watching, everyone. I will see you all next time. Thanks for watching. Bye bye.